Okay, so this is going to be my July in review slash looking ahead to August in episode of Room slash Car Talk Thursday, which in perfect honesty, I really should have done last week, given that it was the last Thursday of July. But also in full honesty, I just forgot to do it. Like I had taken my notes, like, all right, this is something I want to talk about. This is something I want to talk about. And it was either while I was recording the video, or it was almost like 10 minutes after I just kind of thought to myself, shit, this is what I should have done. Well, I mean, if next week is the start of August, I can kind of do it then, and it won't be a huge problem, so we're doing it now. So, excuse me, July in review is a lot of the stuff I did and like what I thought of it, starting with games. I finished Lunar 2, which I loved. I really, really did. Like, I remember finishing it, and I just had this sense of, I think this is one of the best JRPGs I've ever played. Now, where would it actually be on my full list? I don't know, because Kingdom Hearts and Kingdom Hearts 2 are going to be on there. A lot of the Trails games are going to be on there. A lot of the Pokemon games are going to be on there. Persona 5, Persona 4. So I was like, is it in my top 10? Maybe. If not, top 15? Probably. Symphonia's on there for sure. Holy fuck, I love that game. How much does Fire Emblem count? I mean, it's more of a tactics game, but Kingdom Hearts is an action game, but it's still considered a JRPG. Anyways, I was just left with the sense of this game is a fucking masterpiece. It is not a flawless masterpiece. I have my problems with Lunar 2, but they're all gameplay elements that don't quite work for me overall, but I genuinely loved the story by the end. Then I binged Scarlet Nexus. I can't even say I played Scarlet Nexus. I fucking no-lifed it. It was all I did for like a week and a half. It was just so fun. I can't say it was the opposite of Lunar 2, because that would imply that I thought the gameplay was phenomenal, but then the story left a lot to be desired. And I honestly like the story of Scarlet Nexus. Unless it's Starlet Nexus. I think I don't quite love it. There are some elements that don't quite work overall. But I kind of liked how just fast-paced, balls to the wall, we're just kind of gonna do shit vibe that the story had. I thought it surprisingly still made sense, and it surprisingly still flowed. It's not the best video game story I've ever played or experienced, but I liked it. And any shortcomings the game had narrative-wise are easily made up by how stupid fun the gameplay was. So after Scarlet Nexus, I was supposed to play The Witcher 3, and I technically am playing The Witcher 3, quick pin in that, but I just ended up 100%ing Super Mario 64. Clay, I believe I've said this before, I wasn't trying to rhyme, but I guess I did. He does a thing where like he's been trying to get more into game collecting. Like he's got a good amount of PS1 games, PS2 games. He just got an NES like a couple days ago, and he started to get a collection there, which I'm so happy. I'm so proud of him. Like let me try that again and not get tongue-tied. As much as I love lists, I also love having a shelf. I love having collections. I grew up playing Pokemon. Gotta catch them all. I grew up in the Pokemon craze, so it wasn't just the games. It was toys. It was cards. It was lunchboxes. I had a fucking Pikachu bicycle. I love collecting shit. I love having a shelf. I love collecting games. I love collecting figures, all the fucking posters and shit on my wall, which is not all of them. There's other walls here that have stuff on them too. Here, let me show one of my favorites. I hope you can see it, the giant Spirited Away one that's on the door. I got for my birthday last year. Like, I love this so much. I love collecting shit. And I gave that to Clay, which on the one hand, I kind of feel bad about because collecting shit is not cheap. But I'm just happy to see someone else get that collector's spirit. Anyways, there was a point to this. Oh yeah, he got a 64. He's starting to build a 64 collection. So of course, one of the first games he got was Super Mario 64, and I was like, oh, I'll throw it on. I think he kind of like threw it on a little bit. I was like, I'll play a little bit. Okay, I'll play a little bit more. I think literally what happened, because there was a file that had like 7 stars, so like, we'll start there. Okay, let me at least get to Big Boo's Haunt, because I want to show you one of my favorite things in the game, which one of my favorite things in Super Mario 64 is in Big Boo's Haunt. When you first enter, there is not the staircase that leads to the second floor. What you're supposed to do is get the first star, which I believe is called going on a ghost hunt, where you kill all the Boos, and then Big Boo shows up and you kill him, and then it makes the staircase. You go up there, you get the star. Every other star in the staircase is there. However, you can still access the second floor without fighting Big Boo. You have to jump onto the wall jump off the wall, and if you do it at like the right angle and the right height, you can just get onto the balcony. Is it inefficient? Absolutely. But is it satisfying to just play the game the way you want to play the game? Absolutely. What's the line from from Daughter? It's absolutely positively. I believe that's it. It's like, that's how I feel when I do that shit. I was like, I want to show you this really dumb shit in the game. And then I kind of just wanted to play a little bit more. And then at one point I was like, okay, I'm just going to play until I can get to the clock, because I love TikTok clock. And then I did that, and I was like, all right, let's go fight Bowser. It's a 64 version of the game. We could just, do the backwards long jump and get up the stairs. We did it. We fought Bowser, had like 55 stars. Like, okay, I'm good. I'm Gucci. I don't need to play anymore. I beat the game. I did some dumb shit. But I had the itch. I had the itch to keep playing. And I was like, all right, maybe I can do a little bit more. Okay, maybe I can do a little bit more. And then at some point, it just became clear that I'm gonna get all 120. I'm just going to. So, like, I finished it. I think I finished it on the 1st, but today's Friday, so I think I finished it Wednesday, and probably right after this. I don't know if I'll upload it later today or tomorrow. We'll see, just kind of depending on my mood. But I'm going to do a video just ranking all the courses, and I'll say it now, I'll say it in the video as well. My course ranking changes every time I play this game, and I've played this game a lot. Not to say I'm good at it, but I've played this game so many times, and there have been times where I'm like, Hazy Maze, this is like my favorite level in the game. Dar Dar Docks, this is like my favorite level in the game. And then other times where I've been like, these levels are dog shit. What the fuck was I on the last time I played it? There have been times where I've hated TikTok Clock and Rainbow Ride. There have been other times where I'm like, these are the best 2 stages in the game. It really just depends on how I feel during that particular playthrough, which is something I love so much about the game. Even though it's like, yeah, it's the same stars, and some of them I'm gonna get the exact same way every time. Some of them I can do some things a little bit differently. But I just love that feeling of like, it really is a different experience almost every time I play it. And I'm so glad I did, but I do need to take the pen out of the wall because I have started The Witcher 3. I don't know how much I love The Witcher 3. I feel like in terms of world building, it's super fucking interesting. In terms of just the actual like banter and character dialogue, I really like it. I really get into it. I'm not crazy about combat. It seems like crafting is something that's super important, and I'll be honest, crafting is usually a mechanic that I kind of ignore in games, a lot like cooking. I don't know why. There's like, I like fucking with a character setup. Like, all right, what items you have, what equipment you have, like how do I maximize your efficiency? It's why I love Trails so much. It's why Final Fantasy VII and Materia, I love that system. But when it's just like, all right, build shit, make shit with all the random crap you find, it just doesn't quite appeal to me for whatever reason. Like, oh, in this game, that's super fucking important. Got it. And the way combat works, it just doesn't super click with me. I don't think it's awful by any means, but I'm not like, cool, let's fight some shit, let's fight a boss. I'm like, I guess I'm doing this now. One thing I really don't like about open world games, the few that I've played, and it's the reason I kind of don't get into them, it's how big the world is. Like, even like Mario 64, the maps aren't super big. They're nice sandbox size things where there's a decent amount of room to run around in and maybe get a tiny bit lost, but only on like a first playthrough or so. Like Banjo-Kazooie is very similar. But here, the map is so fucking big where it's like, what's your objective? Okay, like, you did this shit, hang out with your witch friend, you explored a cave, you fought a boss. Now the main quest is saying, read a book. Okay, well, I have the book. Boom. Cool. that now you gotta go find the place in the book it was talking about. And it's way the fuck over there. Have fun, dickhead. That's kind of what I mean. It's like, I don't like that. I don't like how genuinely long it can take to get from point A to point B while doing the same quest. Like, if it's like, cool, I did that, and then I went around, did a side quest, and then did the other main quest because there's like 2 main quests at the same time, which that's just a personal thing. I'm like, as you can tell with how I try to do things with my list, I'm like, I want to work on one thing at a time. So I'm only going to work on one part of this quest at a time. I kind of don't like that. Like, I have to do all this bullshit and then go over here and do all that bullshit, and then I'm done with the story arc. But that's just my kind of OCD-ness. But even while doing all of this bullshit, I have to go all the way the fuck over there. And it's not, like, all that fast. I don't care for that. I never have. So I don't really know how much fun I'm having playing the game. I definitely don't hate it. And I guess for context, I'm doing the Bloody Baron. Like, I did all the shit with the witches. I like finished the crones. So I'm starting the Baron portion. I feel like when I'm done with this arc, I'm kind of going to have a bit of a sit down and be like, okay, what do I like about the game? What do I not like about the game? And do I actively want to keep playing it? Because there is some good stuff. There's some stuff that doesn't quite work for me. And I still have a lot of other things on my list. There's a lot of game left. And if I'm not loving it, maybe I shouldn't keep playing it, but if I feel like I'm liking it enough, then I can. But like, we'll see. But that's probably just the game I'm going to be playing for the rest of August, unless I do drop it or finish it. Which in that case, it's going to be Xenosaga. I'm really looking forward to trying Xenosaga. So after that, just in terms of books in review and looking forward, it's Mistborn. I read Mistborn 1 last month. And I loved it. Like, I made a video about it. It's like, this book is cool as fuck. I basically love everything about it. It's amazing. Book 2, I'm on page like 296 or something like that. So I'm basically 300 out of about 760. So almost halfway. 350 is half of 700. So I'd say 380 or so would be probably about halfway through the book. So I'm not quite halfway. I've got about 100 pages or so. I would say I'm still invested. I still like it, but I don't like it quite as much as book 1. And I think for me, it really comes down to one major thing. Book 2 is all about politics. Like, it feels very Game of Thronesy. Like, all right, there's multiple armies, all like multiple factions, all vying for control of the city. You know, we're essentially playing Among Us right now because we feel like there's a spy in our ranks. We don't know who it is. We don't know if it's one of our like main crew or if it's more of like a minor crew. We're not exactly sure who it is, but there's probably someone sus. This kind of shit, and I think it's interesting. I love politics kind of shit. Like, it's one of the reasons I like Log so much. But the first book is a heist. And I love heists. I love having, like, the planning of a heist. Even, like, as I was talking about the book in my review, I'm like, yeah, that feeling when you're just characters talking about shit and, like, being super cool, being super competent. It's one of the things I really like about the John Wick movies. And in that, it's great. And then seeing the plan come together, and then seeing when the plan doesn't come together, and how you have to adapt. And sometimes when shit completely hit the fan, it was somehow part of the plan. I love it. I feel like, to me, it's not to say that, like, man, the second book sucks, it's a drag. Not at all. I think it is very good. It's on par with the first book. But I liked the vibe of the first book a little bit more, just solely because it was more about a heist. Also, a new character was introduced named Zane. I don't know what I think of Zane. He gives me Shadow the Hedgehog vibes. Like, it feels like here's a new character added that's supposed to be cool and edgy and like kind of dark. Like every time he sees someone, he hears the voice of God in his mind telling him to kill this person because they're beneath him, and he has to fight the urge to kill. And at one point he like cuts his wrist because the pain distracts him. Like, this is literal shit in the book. I'm like, I don't know about this. I don't know about Zane, man. Like, there's ways it could maybe kind of work. Like he's like so fucked in the head, like the pain is the only thing that kind of keeps him sane. Like almost like Shiro in Heaven's Feel, like how his brain is getting fried and shit. Like they're like reading Heaven's Feel, like that was something that was super interesting. Here it just feels like this is the new cool edgy character, and he's not quite working for me. I'm not even halfway through the book yet, though. There could be a point later where I'm like, okay, Zane is genuinely like the best character in Mistborn. He gets so fucking interesting. Or I might just be like, I don't know about this one, Chief, but we'll see. So moving on to other things, it's like creative projects. I finished editing the manuscript I've been working on for 3.5 fucking years, and I'm so happy to say it's done. It's not done. There's always more edits to make, blah, blah, you get it. But it's nice to be able to say, I'm finally happy with it. It could be better, but I feel happy. I've started doing a little tiny bit of work on the sequel. Just, I've written a little bit of the first chapter. I mean, like, okay, like, we're adding a new narrator, who I was kind of thinking maybe should have been a narrator in the first book, but she would have started about like 2/3 of the way through, and I didn't really want to add a new narrator at that point. And the book was, it's like 450 pages, at least on like Microsoft Word. I don't know what that would be in print. If it would be the same, it would be a little longer, a little smaller, blah, blah, blah. Excuse me. But I feel like at this point, the book's kind of gotten long enough as is. I don't really need to add more crap. I think we can save this for the sequel. And I think it kind of worked, because even writing, I'm like, oh, starting off with her and her chapter, it's also kind of giving a review of the shit that happened at the 2/3 mark of the first book, and kind of an idea of like, this is what happened with the other two narrators after. This is kind of what they're expected to be doing. And then we'll get back to them when it's their turn to... like, sometimes it's not our turn to talk. It's like, when it's their turn to talk, when it's their turn to narrate, we'll get to follow them. But to at least kind of give the reader like a crash course of like, remember, this is the shit that happened in the first book, and now we are moving forward with the sequel. And the little bit I've written, I've had a lot of fun with. Also still doing the VN stuff. I finished scripting the first chapter yesterday, so I feel pretty nice about that. I'll start chapter 2, like editing that like tomorrow or so. Probably not today. I'll probably take today off from it. But doing that, we have a lot of backgrounds that we like that we were able to get. We have like free use backgrounds. From what I understand, they are not AI, and I like that. Like, I really don't want to use AI shit. I want to be like, this is an actual person who made this. If they say it's free fair use, that's awesome. Like, we're gonna give them all the fucking credit for it. We got that. We got free use music. We're still working on the artists. Like, what we did, it's like we got our big list. We went through them all. And then what I said we should do is like, let's do it now separately. Now that we have the list and we've taken a lot of people off. We took about like, I think half the people off. Go through, find all the ones that you really like, make that a separate list. I will do the same. Once we've both done that, now we'll kind of compare our notes, see who we both have, and those will be some of our stronger ones. And the ones that we don't have, let's discuss it. Like, why do you really like this person? Why do you really want to have them design a character? Stuff like that. And then once we've done that, then we can start like reaching out to people for character designs, which I'm really looking forward to, because, well, hey, we need character designs like to put in the VN. Like, well, we need sprites for that. But at least as placeholders. And, I mean, it would be really nice to see what a lot of these characters actually look like. But I'm also just kind of looking forward to the process of it. It's like, yeah, I really like this person's art style. How is this character going to look in there? How is this, like, I want to see you make this person. Because, like, these pieces of art looked really similar to this character. That's going to be so cool. Like, I love that feeling when I can geek out over my own shit. It makes me happy. It really fucking does. Um, so moving on from that, just like a review of movies I watched in July. So there was Ruby Gillman, Teenage Kraken, which wasn't amazing. I was hoping to love the movie. Instead, I liked it. I had a good time. I'm glad I saw it. It was no Puss in Boots 2, but I didn't think it was bad. I definitely had a good time. Mission Impossible 7, which I had a really good time. I thought the movie was fantastic. Please go see it if you have a chance to. I feel like some of the stunts in this movie, particularly the ending, which I won't say exactly what it is, but the big like climactic set piece was so fucking great to watch. And then of course, Barbenheimer, which I loved both of them. I feel like the more I think, like, I loved Barbie, and the more I've thought about it, the more I still like it. I feel like Oppenheimer was like, I liked it quite a bit while watching it. I feel like the more I've thought about it and it's kind of stewed within me, I've liked it a bit more. I still don't know if I liked it quite as much as Barbie, like the whole just I'm Knuff shit, like just kind of does it for me. But man, Oppenheimer is a phenomenal movie. And yes, if you have a chance, go see it. And I'm like, go see both of them. They're fantastic. You don't have to do the double feature. I did, and I'm very glad I did. But please go see Oppenheimer in IMAX. The Trinity test is like, it to me, it's one of those things like, this is easily worth the price of admission. Triple chef's kiss. And on top of that, other shit I've watched, very clearly, if you follow my channel, I've been watching some folk here. Had a lot of fun with the first season. Again, I think I kind of said this as like my summation of it. It's like, it's not like, man, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen, but I had a really good time with it. And from what I understand, it just gets better, it just gets crazier, and that excites me. So I said I probably wasn't going to start season 2 till tomorrow. I might end up watching an episode or two tonight. I might start a little early, but I'm looking forward to starting it pretty soon. And pin out of the wall, I've been rewatching John Wick. Clay he's only seen the first one. And he's like, I want to rewatch all the movies, and like I keep hearing that 4 is fucking amazing. I'm like, it is. They're all really good, but 4 is my favorite. So we've been rewatching them. We've rewatched the first 3, although I missed a little bit of the 3 rewatch because I think I was at the gym, but I was doing something. Having rewatched them, so like going into the rewatch, I was like, okay, I think my ranking is 4, like from bottom to the top, or excuse me, top to the bottom. 4, 2, 1, 3. We haven't rewatched 4, but I think my ranking is still 4, 2, 1, 3. I just, like, 4 to me is like one of the greatest action movies I've ever seen. Just the set pieces are so fucking cool. I think the story is really interesting. Some of the new characters like Kane, all the shit that happens in Osaka, all the fucking shit that happens in Paris, holy crap. It's phenomenal. It is like a perfect fucking movie. 2, I don't want to say it's a goofy action movie, but there's just some like really fun scenes, like when he's fighting like the sumo wrestler dude or the violinist, or like where he actually kills a couple dudes with a pencil. But there's some of like the really cool, interesting shit, like the entire scene with Gianna, the fight in the catacombs is amazing. Another kind of goofy scene that I love is when he and Cassian are just like shooting each other with silenced pistols, and they're just like super low key. There's a scene where he goes to Rome, and then the guy running the Rome Continental just asks him, "Are you here for the Pope?" Like, when I first saw that, I was watching with a friend of mine. We both like paused the movie to laugh. It was so good. John Wick 1 is a lot more serious than 2. It's a lot more somber, but I think it really works. I feel like it has more of a heart than John Wick 2 does, but I do like some of the set pieces in 2 more, but I still think 1 is a very effective film. 3, I still like, but it just doesn't work as a whole for me as much. You've got the fight scene with the dogs in, I don't even remember where it was, like with Halle Berry and her dogs, is good. I think for me it goes on just like a little too long. The fight in the Continental, I think, is really good at the end of the movie, but the shit at the end with like John falling off the roof of the building and like like slips off the roof, lands on a metal like fire escape, like his back, and then just like, falls onto the ground like he's dead. He is dead. There should not be a fourth movie. This is dumb. There is always a suspension of disbelief, like how much punishment this man can take. The fact that I know he's a super well trained assassin, so are all these other motherfuckers, and like I'm supposed to believe that he can just take them all on by himself. I'm able to believe that. I feel like that's enough of a suspension of disbelief. This whole shit here, that's stupid. It completely takes me out of the movie. And it's truly the only moment in any of the four movies that does it. It just bothers me. I also don't know how much I like Zero. Like, the fact that he's fanboying over John Wick, I think is really fun. But their final fight, I think, is okay. I think it's fine. But the fight right before it with, like, his two droogs that are fighting John and are having so much fun fighting him that there's a couple times where they kind of could have killed him. And instead they just kind of help him up. They're like, no. We get to fight John Wick. We want to keep going. That, I don't know if that's my favorite fight in the movie. Like, Bobon's in the movie. I adore Bobon. That's a lot of fun. The fight in the knife store is really cool. The fight on the bikes where they're all, like, sword fighting and shit, that is also one of my favorites. It's really good. I'm like, there's really good fights in the movie, but then the fight with, like, the big bad, like, rival dude in it, it's fine. To me, it's just not quite as strong. So I do feel like having rewatched them, 3 to me, I still like it. There's a lot of really good shit in 3. I basically love every scene that Winston is on screen, which goes without saying. I feel like that applies to every movie. But he really steals the show in 3. But overall, I feel like I can say it is the weakest in my opinion. So moving on to other stuff. So I guess just, it's a bit of like, and then other stuff I plan on watching. Like I said, still watching Symphogear. I don't really know about movie like Blue Beetle's coming out, but I keep forgetting it's coming out. I'm not that excited for it. It looks potentially fun. Like the new Ninja Turtle movie, it also looks fun. I don't know how much I'm like, dude, I gotta go see it. I could probably be convinced to go watch it, maybe to watch both of those. But I'm not like really chomping at the bit the way I was for like Mission Impossible 7 or Barbenheimer or Ruby Gillman Teenage Kraken. So overall, I feel like July was a fun month. I feel like June was the month that felt like super productive. July definitely still had some productive shit too, though. I like that. I like that I'm able to get shit done. Looking ahead to August, I feel like August is going to be pretty low-key. I've got like one book I plan on reading, and if I finish it early, I'll start book 3. Don't super know about movies. I should be able to blow through Symphogear pretty quickly, because I have 4 seasons left, but all are only 13 episodes, so I don't know if I'll finish it by the end of the month, but I'll be pretty close by the end of the month. We'll see what happens with The Witcher. Yeah. Outside of that, other things about August. So there's 2 important anniversaries for me in the month of August. The first was yesterday, August 2nd, which is he here, by the way? No, he's not. I was checking his tube. It's the day that I found my cat. Or maybe the day that he found me. So if you haven't heard the story, which I know I've said it in a couple videos or so, but I will tell it anyways because I love this story because I love my boy. So it was August 2nd, 2020, about 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock. I remember having this feeling of like, I should go take a walk. Now, this is when I was living with my parents, and they live out in the fucking sticks. So when I say take a walk, I mean, like, I have to walk on the pavement, on the fucking road, because there are no sidewalks. Which I do, it was the shit that I did. It's like, this is where I'm going to go if I'm going to go walking, because I don't want to walk in the woods, which is our backyard, because I don't hate fucking ticks. Which suck, by the way. No pun intended, I fucking hate ticks. I'm like, I really want to go for a walk. I don't know why. I've already been on a walk, and it's getting pretty late. It looks like the sun's gonna set pretty soon. I usually don't try to walk that late, because again, I'm walking on the literal fucking road. I don't want to get hit by a car. But I just had this sense of like, I gotta go do it. So I go, And I start my walk. And then as I'm walking, I see this, it's like a little wooded area because, again, we live out in the sticks. And then I see this little kitten just kind of padding out of like the underbrush, just sitting over there thinking meows. I'm like, he's so cute. So I stop, like I get off the road. And I kind of squat down, look over, trying to call him over, and then he darts back in. And I remember thinking to myself, there it goes. My shot at happiness. Like, I remember thinking that exactly. I was like, there goes my chance at happiness. Because everyone in the house had a fucking cat except me. My sister had 3, my parents had 2, there was a dog, there was an outside cat that we took care of, which my parents' cats were her kittens. It was like, I want my own pet. I want my own cat specifically. So finding this little boy, I was like, this might be it. Oh, there he goes. And then he came right back out. And then he came up to me, let me pet him, was rubbing on me. So I get back up and I start walking back home, which was 2 minutes from where I found him. It was still very close, very early in my walking route. And he's following me, and at one point I pick him up, and he did not like being picked up. He still doesn't. He kind of pushed me off, fell on the ground, and I was like, I fucked it up. I had a chance. Maybe we just could have walked. Maybe I got too eager. Fuck. But he didn't run. He kept walking with me. So we walk up the driveway, which we live on, that house is on top of a hill, so it's a massive fucking snake-like driveway. But he follows me the whole way up. I get there, the dog is sitting there at inside the house, like the glass door, just staring at this cat. But she's a very sweet dog, so she's not barking, she's not freaking out, just, what is it? It's almost like she was like, what is this precious creature and how can I take care of it? So I take him, I end up taking him out to the porch, and my mom and my sister are both like, okay, let's be honest. We have enough cats? The answer was no. To which I said, for all intents and purposes, this is not exact dialogue, this is not exact tone, but essentially, y'all have enough cats. I'm kidding. This one is going to be mine. I don't care if I have to leave him outside and take care of him. If I can bring him inside, that's fine. I have a job. I can take care of him. I am going to do it. So we took him outside where the outdoor cat, the feral cat is, and she just kind of instantly took to him. She was very sweet, which she can be pretty aggro at times. So seeing just how nice she was to him, I really appreciated that. It just, everyone liked him very quickly. And I remember when it came to naming him, I wasn't sure at first. One of the names I had, I was like, I kind of like Merlin. I was like, okay, what's a good... Because I wanted to give him, a very magical sounding name, like a wizard. I was like, Merlin's really good. What's a good Harry Potter name? Like Dumbledore? No. Albus, maybe. I almost named him Rubius, which is Hagrid's first name. I was very close to it. And then I think my sister was like, I'm not feeling Rubius, man. I was like, all right. And then I remember just oh, right. The D&D campaign we're doing right now, where one of the big things is Bahamut, the dragon. I'm going to fucking name him Bahamut. And that stuck. That's my cat. I think he was an outdoor cat aside from before we met him, which I think when he went to the vet, I learned he was about 6 weeks old. With me, he was an outdoor cat for maybe a night. And then he came inside, got our shots, and he's been my little baby ever since. So 3 years, the anniversary was yesterday. The other important anniversary in August, which will be a 30th anniversary, is mine. My birthday is August 16th, and I'm turning 38, and I'm so old. God, dude, my knees feel like they're 70. My knees are so bad. My back almost always hurts. My bed is this hard piece of shit. My spine is curved. I have cerebral palsy, so my muscles are all shitty. It's awful. But, yeah, I turned 30 in 2 weeks, which is, memes aside, it's kind of a weird thing to think about. There's a part of me that's like, I didn't think I was going to make it past 27. And then there's a part of me that's like, I do kind of feel old. Like my nephew was born in, one of my nephews at least was born in 2010. I'm like, he's already 13. Holy shit. I'm old as shit. But I'm also like, but I'm only 30. Hopefully, there's a lot of life left. 30 is a young age. Now, for all I know, I could get struck by lightning in 2 days because it's an Oklahoma summer and there's thunderstorms. So maybe 30 is not, I might not even make it 30 technically because I just don't know. But it's a young age. There's still a lot of time to get out of debt, to go travel, to go do shit. And it's an important milestone, but it's not really like, oh man, I'm fucked because I'm already 30. It's like I'm only 30 if I can be honest. Again, hoping I don't spontaneously combust when I turn 31 or something. Aside from that, that's really all I have to say in terms of July in review and August looking forward. But there are a couple other things I just wanted to bring up, so I'll talk about them pretty quickly. One, I heard that MCDC, if you follow the Pat McAfee show, also known as Motor City Dan Campbell, the head coach of the Detroit Lions, apparently tried to get an actually, I guess, I don't know if this happened last year, and I was only made aware of it like yesterday, or if this is something he called the NFL about because he wanted it to happen this year, but he wanted to get an actual live lion on the field or like on the sidelines because they're the Lions. And I love that so much. I watched a Rich Eisen show video yesterday, and shout out to them. I really like the Rich Eisen show. About it, it's like, all right, here's my power rankings of the top 10 mascots I want on the sidelines of NFL games. The ones that killed me were like the actual 49er, an actual Steeler, like a blacksmith, or like an actual Jet for Jets games. I got a really good laugh out of it. And then number one was like an actual Giant. I'm like, okay, that one's also pretty funny. I just had to bring that up. The MCDC, the fucking kneecap dude. As I said this last year, I am not a Lions fan. I am a Saints fan. That is my team. That is the team I'm going to ardently support. I hope they win, because there can only be one winner at the end of the day. I hope they are the winner. I hope everyone else loses. But unless the Saints are playing the Lions, I'm kind of going to be rooting for the Lions. I like Dan Campbell a lot. The Lions are like the Cubs of the NFL. They are the lovable losers. It was also the Browns. But with the Deshaun Watson shit, not really anymore. But the Lions, yeah, like, I want to see you guys actually do something. And they might be good. Like, they have expectations now, which doesn't happen for them super often. I hope they live up to it. I'm kind of excited to see I've seen some good Lions seasons. Like, I think with Stafford, they made the playoffs like thrice. Okay, I think it was thrice. So they lost to the Saints in the first round one year. They lost to the Cowboys in the first round one year, which was a really fun playoff game. A lot of like controversy though. And then there was one where they played the Seahawks, which I don't remember how close of a game that was. I feel like it was one of those games where the scoreboard made it look like it was like a 2-3 score game, but actually watching the game, it was a little closer than it was. But kind of thing. But like I've seen them have some good seasons. I've seen them have some winning records, some playoff appearances, but not like a crazy good Lions season. Like where even when they're in the playoffs, you genuinely think this team can fucking go places. I'm looking forward to seeing that. Hopefully it happens this year, and hopefully not at the expense of my Saints. Another thing I wanted to bring up is, I think I said this last week. I don't know if I had a chance to or not, just depending on days. But Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2. I was almost literally choking on my words. Nickelodeon Smash 2. That really rolls off the tongue a lot better. It's coming out. I don't know if there's a part of me that's just not excited because I played the first one and I didn't care for how it played. I didn't care for how like soulless it felt. But it looks like they've almost kind of rebuilt the game from scratch, and it seems like a lot of the movesets are different. Hopefully the way it plays will just be a bit more fun to me personally. Looks like I don't really know about the music. I thought the music in the first game was terrible. It might be better. I know they added voice acting, and the voice acting is already here, and that's something that gets me more excited. It looks like characters will have supers, which, like, I don't usually play with Final Smashes on in Smash, but they're still a cool thing to have. And then looking at the roster, from what I understand, no one from the first game has been cut, but that hasn't been officially confirmed, but most of the cast has shown up. The new characters... there's been a lot of leaks, which you may or may not have seen. I actually guessed Arnold's grandma, which was not completely out of the ether. Like, I had seen the Papagenos video, which shout out to him. Like, I've been following him for several years now. Sounds like a stalker. Let me rephrase that. I've been a fan of his channel for several years now. I think about like since 2017, maybe 2018. It was like all the speculation of Smash Ultimate. And, like, that's how I know him. And seeing his channel grow from, like, yeah, I follow Smash, I talk about rumors and speculation, to he's actually, like, a genuine leaker with, like, information and shit. I'm like, I don't know if pride is the right word. It's like, I don't want to say I'm proud of you to someone I don't even actually know. Like, seeing the way his channel has grown, I think is really cool. Like, I think that's genuinely awesome. And I know the Super Mario RPG make got him really excited. But he made a video, he's like, I've seen a leak, I don't want to share it, because I like the feeling of speculation. But I'll kind of give some kind of general hints as to some of the the characters I have seen. And one of them, he's like, it's a what the fuck character. And I remember my brain going, Arnold's grandma. And you can check it in his video. I have a comment there. Like, it's not like the LeBron James meme shit where I can be like, yeah, I totally guessed. Like, I did guess that one. I think I got 3 of my guesses in that right, because I said Plankton, Grandma, Angry Beavers. The ones I got wrong were I said Harold as another Hey Arnold character, and then afterwards, like, I probably should have said Gerald, so when it turned out to be Gerald, I was... I now realize I'm saying, like, I'm not really going to talk about the leak, but I'm doing it anyway, so... I'm sorry if you wanted to go in unspoiled, I'm really sorry, but whoops. I think the other 2 characters I had guessed were... I know I had said Blue because I really want my Blue's Clues. I want a Blue Skidoo. I want to kick ass as Blue from Blue's Clues. She is not in the game. Who was the other character I picked? Oh, I had said an Invader Zim character. I had said Gaz specifically, like as one of the Membrane family. Which Gur wasn't in the leak, but apparently Gur might be playable too, so we might get an Invader Zim character. But it looks like the other 2 characters that were in the leak are Azula, which a bit surprised to see Azula over Zuko, but I can kind of see it. Like, if you want another villain character, if you want the lightning bending in there too, but Zuko has the sword, so he still has something he can offer, but I can see Azula. I was not expecting to see Ember from Danny Phantom. Like, that's kind of cool, though. Like, I remember that episode years ago, and it's like, she's really fucking cool. Okay. Like, so just looking at the roster, I'm like, this looks like a cool roster. This looks like a fun roster. Please give me my Blue's Clues character and I'm getting your game for sure. But if she's not there and I'm not contractually obligated to buy it, it's like, I got burned once. Fool me once. Shame on you. Fool me twice. Can't get fooled again. I don't really want to get fooled again. It's kind of how I feel about Kingdom Hearts now, actually. Like, as much as I know I'm gonna get Kingdom Hearts 4, I hated 3, so there are parts of 3 I did like, but overall, I felt so, like, massively disappointed. I'm like, I don't really want to get 4, and then when that trailer happened, it was like, this is Sora's new design. I hate it. It's like, oh, well, this is only his design in Quadratum and, like, the hub world. He'll be his normal self in other worlds. A, thank God. 2, why does he have this terrible design at all anyways? Like, maybe people really like it. Again, this is just my personal opinion. If you like it, then you like it. That's awesome. I'm glad you do. I'm glad there are people who are like, this is a cool design for Sora. For me, though, I look at it, I'm like, this does not look like Sora to me. I genuinely didn't even realize I was looking at Sora. The hair is wrong. He has normal ass shoes and not his big fucking clown shoes. Which means that that's an important part of Sora's design. He's supposed to look goofy. He's supposed to just look like a cartoon character. And I think that's it. Sora, to me, like just his design, looks like the combination of a Disney character cartoon and a Squeenix character, like some Final Fantasy shit. Quadratum Sora just looks like some new Final Fantasy character, like Noctis. And I don't like that for Sora. Like, Kingdom Hearts 3 really tried to phase out the Final Fantasy influence on the series. And looking at the Quadratum shit, I'm like, are they now going to try to phase out the Disney part of it too? I don't like that. I just really don't. But regardless of the quality of Kingdom Hearts 4, whether I'm like, oh fuck, it's the best game ever, or I'm like, oh fuck, it's trash, I will always have Kingdom Hearts 1, which I adore. And I will always have Kingdom Hearts 2, which I adore. You know, say what I will about Kingdom Hearts, I literally have the Oblivion Keyblade just like right there on my wall. It is one of my favorite games of all time, both 1 and 2. So you know when I talk shit on it, and I know I do that quite a bit, it does come from a place of love. The only other thing to say is, I guess aliens are real. I guess aliens have been confirmed or alluded to. I don't really know what to think, because it's like, sure. I don't know how much that affects my life at the moment. It's like, well, what kind of aliens are we dealing with? Are we dealing with, like, yeah, they're super fucking advanced, super crazy, and they like Earth because, like, in South Park, we provide them great entertainment? Are they super passive? They help, like, ancient aliens and shit was real. Like, they do just like to influence society in different ways and help build pyramids and shit, but they're not evil. Are they gonna attack us at some point? I don't know. Are they hot? A genuine question. It's like what kind of aliens are we talking about? Like, are we gonna get monster girls? Are we gonna get like exchange programs? I might be interested in going to a alien girl planet. Hopefully it doesn't have, like, to serve mankind of ending, but I'm not even going to finish that sentence. I'm not going to finish that sentence. But, yeah, like, they exist, maybe. I don't really know what I think. I will say this, like, in terms of my belief, like, I don't really, beforehand, I was like, I was very agnostic about aliens. I was like, do I believe that there's other life out there? Yeah, sure, probably. Maybe, but I'll believe it when I see it, and when I see it, I'll be like, oh, cool. Now what? And that's kind of where I'm at now. But that's it. That's July in review. Looking ahead to August, and also talking about Aliens, Motor City, Dan Campbell, and Nickelodeon Smash 2. So I'll see you in the next video, which, like I said, will probably be the courses in Mario 64. If not, it'll be starting Symphogear Season 2, but I'll see you then.